We had a team that was embedded in a hospital for 6 weeks. We had 5 people on the ground watching surgery across all surgical operations, so everything from brain surgery to heart surgery to trauma on a day-to-day basis. And in that, we developed really close relationships with the staff, with the physicians, the nurses. And so on a particular morning, myself and one other member of the team walked into an orthopedic surgery. And there were 2 rooms that we happened to be watching simultaneously. So the first room that we'll call room A, we walk in and it is almost a case study in a team and flow. You walk in, there's music playing, people are openly communicating, it's very efficient. Timeout happens, everyone's focused and serious. Music comes down, they get in the flow of the case. And it's a team that's operating really well. Yes, there were things I could have done better, but as a unit, as outsiders, we could feel that sense of mission and purpose and really cohesion. So 2 of us actually left that case because it was going well and went into room B. And so as we're standing at the sink, there's a particular surgeon there who is about to start room B. And he asks what we're doing there, and we explain how we think about performance. He says, well, let me tell you what's wrong with this place, and goes into a verbal tirade. And at this point is scrubbed in. He turns and kicks the door of the operating room in and enters his operating room with this burst of angry energy. And so much so it sort of jolts the people in the room. And he brings that energy into the room and he starts this case. And that case immediately starts with a conversation, a very angry conversation between him and the anesthesiologist. As that case progresses, it continues to degrade. There's some things that happen technically beyond our knowledge that lead to some more fighting. And that energy is then focused to the scrub tech. So the young woman who is in charge of handing instruments to the surgeon. And as she starts to get nervous, he continues to put his anger and frustration into her. And as that builds, her hands start to shake, and you can tell that cognitively she is losing her ability to focus. She starts handing him the wrong instruments. He starts to verbally berate her for not being able to do her job. And when you think about that, if you just pause right there, and you think about that in the world of, let's take special operations as an example, it is very equivalent to purposefully injuring someone on your team, to almost take them out of the fight, which it's the last thing you ever want to happen, is to degrade your own team, your own ability to operate. And so as this situation unfolds and continues to fall apart, there's actually a rep in the room from industry, so a sales rep who was helping on this particular case, who came in, helped that nurse get back on track, focus, and finish the case. But for us, it was an extraordinary representation of operating room A versus B. And in that, there was a major story to tell, because this particular institution had a number of individuals, and it wasn't just about surgeons, it was just rampant personalities. There were no standards. And one of the things we focused on was not the behavior of that individual. It was to say, look, you have created an environment where, in a lack of standards, people do what's rational. And what became rational was screaming and yelling because this person, in some cases, was reasonably frustrated with a culture that had no standards and didn't have any clear sense of performance and mission. And so taking that out, it felt fruitful to do so in the midst of a case. And that allowed us to really reverse engineer it and start to think about, if we're going to build a future that's focused in performance, how do we do that in a way that thinks about having mutual respect, trust, high standards, an ability to communicate honestly so that critique comes out before or after a case, not in the middle, in a way that's going to degrade our ability to ultimately provide safe patient care.